In this video, we're going to be working with cinematic graphs again, but mostly working with water and how to have that repetitive. So in the last video, if you watched that one first, I told you that this was done a little bit differently, but I want to show you two versions. One where it's just looping like normal in Photoshop, and you can see that jump right there. Right there, it jumped again. This one, I added an infinity loop to it. There's multiple ways to do that, but I have found a very easy way that I'm going to show you in this video. So I would try to add the infinity loop onto all your videos so it runs smoothly and it loops beautifully. But again, that's really up to you. If you like the little jumpiness of the GIF, that's fine, but if you want the infinity loop to fade in and give a smooth transition, do that too. Okay, and here's another one that I did with a water picture. This one does not have the infinity loop on it, so again, right here, you see that skip really big. But if I come over here and play this one for you, I know it's stopping because it's a movie, but there's a slight fade that can happen there, but that will give it an endless loop. So we're going to be working with that today. So we're going to get rid of that jump in your GIFs, and we're going to have that nice and smooth transition going. So I'm going to do the water picture. Again, I got this off of pixels.com, so feel free to do that or try out your own. The one where I have the man in the water fountain, drinking from the water fountain, that is my own creation, my colleague and a student. And then this one is from pixels.com. And so this is how it will play out. So it's a slow pour, but you can see there's some shakiness in the arm, obviously because this is a glass pitcher, so it's very heavy, and how much it's filling up. So we're going to sort of stop that in motion and work with that. So how it's playing back is if I come over here to my little cog and I do the loop playback and I check that. And I'm going to bring these in again to where I want them to be. So we'll say this is where I want it to play. Okay. So I'm going to do that. And just like before, I'm going to Command J this. I'm going to copy this and bring it above. So you see two of them. And I'm also going to make this an image. So I'm going to come up to Layer, Rasterize Video. And it's hidden behind there. I'm just going to squeeze this in a little bit more so we can see that. And let's bring it on over and line it up. Again, because the image is on top, the now image, we cannot see the video. So we need to do this a little bit differently than we did in the previous video. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working with the video. We're going to make sure the image layer is turned off, eyeball. And then we're going to be picking a frame in here. That looks fine. Actually, let's go a little bit more. There we go. I'm going to zoom in here. Okay. So we are going to apply the mask to the video this time and then move it to the image so we can see how the video is going to work. So we got the mask going, and we're not going to invert it this time either. We're going to keep it as is. So I'm going to have black on top, white on the bottom, and I'm going to paint this time. So I'm going to come over to my brush, B, and if you want the brush bigger, you do the bracket on the right. If you want it smaller, bracket on the left, and you can of course come up here and change any of those. Usually you want a soft brush. That helps the best. So with this, I want to get the pour as much as possible. And I want to get the cup. And everywhere I think it might move on the cup. So maybe not necessarily the bottom I don't need to get, but I want along the sides. And let's just say for some reason that happened. Of course you can do a step back, but then I lose all that information, right? Where if I could just go like this, I can toggle, I can go to my white, which adds back in the image, X on the keyboard or just click those broken arrows and I can paint that back in quickly. So that's a good way to get some detail in there. So again, X to put the black forward to take away. Maybe I want it bigger, so right bracket for my brush. I'm using a soft brush right now. But again, I'm going to go X, paint that back in a little bit. That's a little bit too much comfort for me. So again, this could take some time. Okay. And then I'm going to take this and apply it to my image. Put it with my image and then turn on the eyeball. So again, I just needed to let that load, but that's how it would look. So it's a little off. I'm maybe not getting as much because of the movement of the pour. So I'm going to click on my space bar to stop that, bring that back down and undo that. And then let's just scroll through this. So there we go, right towards the end here, it gets a little bit more. So I'm going to come back, make sure I'm on my mask, brush, left bracket, and black top to bring that in. And let me just scroll through, maybe get a little bit there. Now this might be too much, but this is where you have to take your time and you have to experiment and pass that mark. Okay, so let's bring it back up to the image. Pop on the little eyeball. Okay, that's pretty good. You can see a little bit of the reflection, you know, in there, but I don't think that's enough to worry about. But you have a really strong stop here, right? And we're going to get rid of that in just a minute. So I say overall that this is fine. Now, I'm not going to save it as a GIF yet. I'm going to export it as a video. Again, there are multiple ways that I could do this, but I found this one the easiest to understand for myself and to not mess up my video. Okay, so I'm going to render that. Okay, I'm going to click out of this. And then I'm going to open and find my water. And then let's bring that in. Okay. And then again, it's going to open a timeline. I'm going to play it. Jump, jump, jump. That's what it's going to do. So let's fix that. Let's add an infinite loop to that to help better that. So first, what I want to do is it's going to come in as a group because it was a group originally, right? I'm going to just take this layer and bring it above. Now it's out of that. And why I did that is if I need to make a copy of this layer. So if I did Command J, it would make a copy on the same thing. And even though there's two layers here, it wouldn't give me two spaces to move that around. You know, I drop this down and there's just position, opacity, style. It's not giving me that option. So workaround for that is just to bring the layer above the video grouping. This is fine. You can then delete that if you want to, and you have your single image. I'm sorry, your single video. And I'm just going to go maybe, see, it's only 3 seconds. So let's just go to 1 second here. And we're going to go to the split playhead, which looks like a little pair of scissors. I'm going to click on that, and it's going to split where that playhead was. Now what I want to do is this longer back half of the video, I'm going to scoot that, make sure these are not both highlighted. There we go. I'm going to scoot that to the front. And then I'm going to take this guy, and I'm going to move him back. Okay, next what I want to do is make sure I'm on the top layer again, and I want to come over here, and these are your fades. And I'm just going to do the regular fade. I'm going to click and drag, holding down on my mouse or my keyboard, and I want this fade to be the same length as the bottom. So if I need to, all I have to do is from the edge here, I'm just hovering over and I can drag that out or drag that in, okay? So now let's check it out. Looks much more smooth. Now, like previously, before, I had to make sure my video is perfect. So right here, it kind of looks a little awkward. I might have not grabbed all of the drip. But again, that is just where you take your time with your selection. And you're going to see a little bit of fade here. But if you work with it enough, it's going to be completely fine. So you just have to figure out how long you want each one to be. If you have an 8-second thing, go to 2 seconds. I just wanted to show you the 1 versus the 2 seconds. So maybe this would be half a second then, and that would help with the fade a little bit more. But it's so much more stronger now that it doesn't have that little skip. So make sure you do that. Again, you can find another way, but this works great for me, so I'm going to keep doing it this way. We're going to go to File now, Export. Same as before, save for web, legacy. Okay, and then I would just, this looks fine, and then I just push save. Again, if I just wanted to save this as another video so I can upload it on YouTube, I go to Export, Render Video. And then one last thing. So you saw in a previous video and in this video how he was blinking throughout. And I really wanted that to give sort of a creepiness almost to the video, a liveliness maybe. So I did the water in the mask, and I also did the eye. So I zoomed in really close to his eye, and I masked that out as much as possible. I did have to go back a few times, work with my positive and negative mask painting. So the eyebrows didn't move too much, or I didn't pick up too much of that. So just be aware of that. You really want to think out your video or your little clip that you want to do before you start. So I picked somewhere around here where I saw her foot lift up, and I love that. It's sort of like stop and action part. And then I did the same thing I just showed you with the water pitcher. And I just worked with his eyelashes and the fountain at the same time. I will tell you the fountains are a little bit trickier, just because of a lot of reflection here and movement. So just be aware of that. That could be a little advanced for your first time out. So either, try maybe pouring some water, have yourself a glass of wine if you want, or an adult beverage if you're old enough, and try it out. If not, you can go to pixels.com and download this very video if you want to. And that's it. Again, working with a different method, and then also working with an infinity loop understanding.